I always loved this walking up to the building.
Now you see me, and now you don't. You might be wondering where I disappeared to in that split second. Well, you're about to be amazed by this Canadian. He will be more than glad to show you what it really takes to be a magician. But not the magician you think. He is what they call a mentalist.
I got the sauce right now. Bust down wrist, wanna floss right now. Feeling like a boss right now. Haters over there, go ahead and pipe down. Woke up today, made 100K. I wear designer like a throwaway. Ain't nobody taking my ground. Running back, I got the sauce right.
Welcome to Crown and Fields. My name is Ryan Lennon. Please ensure your phones are on silent mode. Pictures are more than welcome, but please no filming at any time during the performance. The show will begin shortly.
You know, it's funny, when you first see that, I'm gonna go see a magic show, so you think more of like a children's party or something like that. You come here, it's nothing like you expect.
25 years in your parents' faceline. That's all it takes.
This is Ryan, and he's not your average magician. He's a mentalist. Now, this is just wild. Mentalism doesn't just fool your eyes, it messes with how you think.
I think you switched between, at first you thought of a U and then you went to an N.
And you're probably wondering, how does he do that? From fingers. But the real story starts way before the first trick that you see. All from your fingers.
Yeah. So that's how I started with muscle reading, right?
How's everybody doing? Sign this for me, please. Could you sign that?
One of the things that I have always said about myself is that before being a magician or a mentalist or anything like that, I'm an entertainer. That's number one.
Excellent. You're going to join me on stage. Let's give this guy a big round of applause. Come on up.
I think a lot of people, they get like a magic set when they're 5 and they start practicing and then they kind of pursue it and fall in love with it. I really got into it when I was like 19. I'm from Jasper. There's 5,000 people. There's not a magic book store or magician within 500 miles. And then my best friend Wyatt, he knew a couple of like really good tricks. It was like, that was magic. How the hell did you do that? And he taught me, and I would do them at parties, and then people started calling me a magician, and then I would spend nights at home just researching and reading, a lot of reading, a lot of books. Once enough people kind of knew I was a magician, someone was like, hey, you know there's a magician in town, right? Have you ever met him? And I met this guy, and then he was like, hey, there's a magic shop in Calgary. And I went in and I was like, hey, I love magic and I want to, learn as much as I can. And this guy was like a little skeptical of me, but like there was some other really famous magicians that were in the shop at the time. And she was like, hey, you should come to this lecture. There's going to be a magician lecturing and showing, they don't show how their tricks work, but they show you their tricks and why they perform them. And then when I was at the lecture, someone was like, hey, we do conventions. You should come to this convention. And I just got sort of sucked into the whole world. It was like, oh, this is a community. Yeah, I never had a plan B. So most magicians, what happens is they'll start off as a magician. They'll dip their toe into mentalism because, again, you can't perform mentalism like for yourself. You can practice magic by yourself. And so I perform 90% mentalism on stage because I feel like that connects with an audience a lot more. Everything that you saw on my show last night is something I created.
From your brain.
Yeah. Let me just show you something like this. Like, let's say you just take a deck of cards, right? Let's say the idea of this trick is just think of a card that you see there. You got one? Okay, and then we'll put that card back. So if we give those cards a
we've
shuffle,
all
I
been
can
there.
take the deck,
We've
and
all
let's say
seen
the
card
idea
tricks
is to
before.
make the card appear in the middle face up. I just did it.
This is the part where you probably think, the first trick works fine. Why overthink it?
But now there's a million different ways that I could present that. Now here's an idea.
But that's
Imagine taking the
exactly
six of
where the
diamonds out,
real work
flipping it face
begins.
down,
Because if
and
every
putting it back in the deck
technique
so
has
it's the
been
only
used
card
for
in the deck facing
decades,
the wrong way.
how do you make
Watch how
something
different
new?
this feels.
How do you
Look,
take a move
every card in the
everyone
deck
knows and turn it into a
is
trick
facing the
that
same way.
finally feels like yours?
Every single card. Except there's one upside
But you
down
shuffled
right
them
there.
all to. But at what point did it change?
His job as a
all I'm
magician
saying is,
isn't just to
Look
perform
at
a
how
trick.
different that feels.
It's to
Right.
take some
Right? When
technique
I go
and
through the
turn it
cards
into
face
something
up
that
versus
suddenly
face down.
feels like it was
When they were
always
face
his.
up, I showed you the card.
Here's
and
what
I
you're
was
not
like, "Is that
seeing.
your card?" And you went, "Yeah."
Thousands of hours of
impressive.
practice
But if
behind
I
this
go through the
one
cards
move.
and I say, "Look,
And
the
all
cards
those
are facing
hours
the
of
same way, every
practice
single one
just to
except
create
for
10
one.
minutes that look
now.
Now
effortless.
that's the moment
And to
of,
Ryan,
"No way,
it's
there's no
everything.
way that's my card." My job as a magician is to take that technique and then make a trick out of it that's entirely my own. So you can literally look at anything around my house and you could do magic with it. Once you understand magic a little bit, you can make anything into a magic trick. If I'm not performing, I'm at home working on magic. If I'm and I see my friends like twice a month, you know, so I'm like, 90% of my life is just magic. Yeah, it's kind of a sad fact that like, this magic is like one of the smallest parts of what I do now, because it is marketing, sales calls, invoicing, client calls, website design, social media. But the shows that I do perform, I've put in, I couldn't even begin to think about how long it's taken me. There's something in magic that I try to go by, which is called the triple trilogy format. So it's like a set of 3 illusions, another set of 3, and then a final 3. And each illusion in the show kind of like has a different feel to it. This is actually taken from Shakespearean times. So like the amount of research about just took hundreds of hours to figure out what makes a good show, as opposed to a guy standing on a stage doing a bunch of magic tricks in a row. And then the Mind Games show, which is one of my newer shows, that one I practiced it for over a year in secret without telling anybody. And I think that one I probably had to perform that show about 100 times before I felt like even somewhat comfortable with it. And now I've done it easily over 1,000.
Folks, welcome to the brand new show at Crown and Thieves. This show is called Prophecy. At the end of the show, all of you are going to want to know why it's called Prophecy.
And now with this new show, I've only done it 3 times. And it's like, you know, but I've already put probably 2,000 hours into it. Developing an actual show takes a really long time.
How many deck of cards do you have?
Oh boy, I don't know. All my little like keepsakes, 2 decks from Eric Church right there, decks of cards in there. All of those decks up there are like special to me. This first one was signed by another one of my favorite magicians, dirtiest, and it's the first deck of cards that I ever owned. There's a few.
Oh, do they sponsor magicians at all?
They should. No, they don't. Yeah, there's a lot in there. So that's that.
That's amazing.
And then we got more over here.
Holy cow.
Probably. That's my little drawer of shame. This is all magic right here. It's
That's
like,
fun.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I have 4 that are in the shop right now. Also, I am colorblind. Is this purple?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So purple
By the
silk
time
goes
you
inside the
see a
hand
show
folds,
like Mind
right?
Games,
And
it looks
tuck all the way
smooth,
in, just a little
polished,
blow like
almost
that, and it
easy.
disappears completely. You
What
can
you're
reach
not
in
seeing
between
is
your
the
empty
year
hands
he
and pull it
spent
right back out like
practicing
that.
it in
so
secret.
quickly.
It's very quick. But if I was to do this for a kid, I would do something like this. I would place the silk in my hand.
And
I'd say,
now there's a
"Everybody
brand
watch
new
the
show
silk.
he's
We're gonna
only
place it into
performed
my
3
hand, ready?
times,
And on the count of 3, the silk is
with
gonna
over
disappear." And all
2,000
the kids go,
hours
"You
already
dropped
poured
it,
into
you
it.
dropped it." And you go, "Oh,
Because
sorry, hold
before
on,
he's
let
a
me do that again. Here we
magician
go. We're gonna take
or a
the silk.
mentalist,
I won't drop it this
he's
time.
an
Okay, here we go.
entertainer.
Watch this. It
The
disappears
tricks,
completely.
the methods,
And they're all
the
like, "It's still
how
on
do
the
you
floor."
do
"Oh,
that?
sorry, I'll do it one more time."
That's just
And you
part
do
of his
that for
toolbox.
45 to an hour, and that's a kid's show, right?
Yeah,
like it's
okay, I see
just
the
goofy,
difference.
and then you do the actual trick.
The
and you can
tricks,
make it,
the
you can do
method,
whatever you
the
want. You can
how do
place
you
the-
do
you can
that?
place the silk in
What's
your
your
hand like this,
secret?
and then I can make it
How?
disappear, right?
That's just part
And
of his
then maybe I can
toolbox.
grab it, like,
The
outside
real
your
work
sleeve,
is
right?
making you
And then
feel
you
like
can
for
come out of your
one
sleeve. If
night,
you pull something out of your kid's
anything is
sleeve,
possible.
Show over. Like their brain explodes because they're like they can't handle that amount of magic. You know, like kids really enjoy when you're a goof, but then you pull a little magic out of it. So there's another whole sort of faction. It's a little bit aside from magic or mentalism. It's called cardistry. It's like really fancy shuffles with cards. Yeah, like this move took me, I got blisters on my fingers trying to learn this. So International Brotherhood of Magicians right here. Ryan Lackey, International Brotherhood. When you get that, you have to sign a document saying that you're going to respect the art, the ethics, and the secrets of magic.
Who awards?
Oh, so there's competitions,
Yeah.
and I entered into PCAM and the Canadian Association of Magicians for these 2.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a group of magicians. So it's,
Like how big is
we're
this group
diving
in
deep.
Canada?
Anyways, so there's like a bunch of different like factions of magicians that are all over Canada, and they're called rings. For PCAM and CAM, they're conventions that happen. So there's competitions, there's games, there's like just brotherhood and camaraderie. There's so many guys that come to those conventions. They're not full-time. They don't want to perform on stage. They just love magic. If I've done this before where I landed at an airport to go do a show somewhere and they didn't bring my suitcase. So I literally went to the dollar store and I picked up everything I needed for the show, and I still managed to like do a show. if you're watching a musician and they screw up a chord, right, and they play like a wrong chord, if they acknowledge it and they go, fuck, I'm so sorry guys, hold on, let me start that over again. Everyone in the audience goes, ooh. But if you're really confident about it and they blow the chord and they go, fuck, and then they get back into it, you laugh a little bit and you forget it in 10 seconds. So if I screw something up on stage, you don't know this, but you were at the show last night. Yeah. I screwed up 4 things last night. Nobody had any clue because you just move past it. If it's dead in the water, you just go, oops, and move on.
Right.
I used to swallow sewing needles in my show. Swallow 10 sewing needles and then swallow a piece of thread and then they'd all come out tied together.
Actually?
Yeah, that's how I got this scar.
Because you were purposely...
I was swallowing sewing needles and one of them went down the wrong way, got lodged in my throat, and my first instinct was to swallow to try to get it out, and I pushed it all the way into my neck.
Oh, how many people freak out? Yeah. I already don't like this.
I remember the first time I put a needle in my mouth, it was fucking terrifying. I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I was like looking in the mirror and I put the needle on my tongue and I was like, oh my God. And I just tried it and I did it.
How many? Whoa, no, what?
It's a trick. That's why you can do it. They're all connected by string. So that's why you're gonna be able to do it first try.
Oh.
Maybe second try.
No one's getting it.
Peanut didn't work?
You do pretty
no.
Oh. This is my magic trick with cards. Your arms. I prefer right over left and left over right. But in theory, you see here, so you see how them kind of have them weird. You want to flip it the other way.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah. So from here, all you do, cross your pinky. No, you wish. Cross your pinky toes. Ready? Pinkies are all crossed. Yeah. And on the count of 3 together, all we do is.
Wait, what?
All I can hear is my breathing.
No.
That is hard.
We were not at all.
That's fun.
Yeah, you got to be able to handle heckle lines too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Would you ever just do stand-up comedy?
No, that's what, like, when I initially started, I wanted to be a musician. I originally wanted to be a musician. Yeah. And I tried out for Canadian Idol a couple of times, you know, all that shit. Here I ride this train to Alabama in the rain. When I get that lonesome feeling in my bones. I never get to Birmingham. Getting there ain't the plan. Do you really have what it takes to play tricks and entertain people and be comfortable in front and perform, and also spend countless hours running a business and marketing yourself and trying to show magic in the world in a really fun way? On the train to Birmingham, yes, I died a little slower on the train to Birmingham.
Everybody left the show. Thanks so much, everybody. Get on safe.